Hello and welcome to this tutorial, and in this tutorial we are going to learn how we could perform mathematical operations in Java such as addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So in order to perform mathematical operations, the first thing which we actually need to do is that we actually need to declare some variables so that we could perform mathematical operations onto them. So let's go ahead and declare two variables. So let's take the first variable as integer, let's say a, and let's take a new variable as b. So let's go ahead and declare the second variable. So we type the second variable as integer b. Now one more thing which I would like to mention here is that in the previous tutorials we have learned that we are going to declare a variable like this, but as you could see, the two variables which are declared here, which are a and b, are of the same type, which is integer. So instead of specifying both of them on a separate line, what you could do is that you could delete one of them. You could go right here, right after a, give a comma and then specify the second variable, which is called as b. So what this thing does is that it is going to declare two variables in a single line. So once you have two variables, the next thing which we do is that we actually save some value into it. So let's say we want to save a value of 20 into the first variable. So we type a equals 20, and this equals is called as the assignment operator, which is going to assign a value to a particular variable. Now the second thing which we do is that we assign a value to our second variable. So we type b equals, let's say 30, and now let's say we want to perform an addition operation. So in order to perform an addition operation, we actually need to have one more variable which is going to store the result of these two. So let's go ahead and create one more variable. So we go right here, we give a comma and we create one more variable called c. So once we have the third variable, we could use the third variable to store the result of addition of these two variables. So we type c equals a, then to add the two numbers we use a plus sign. So plus sign is basically used in order to add numbers in Java. So we type c equals a plus b, and then finally we end the statement with a semicolon. So as you could see, the two numbers have been successfully added. Now the only thing which we need to do is that we actually need to display the result, and the result in this case is going to be addition. And the result of the addition operation is stored in the variable c. So we simply display the value which is stored in c. So for displaying, we type system.out.println, and we simply print out the value of c variable. So inside the parentheses we type in c. So once this is done, we save the code and then we try to run our program. So we simply right click over here and select the option which is called as run. So as you could see, we got the result of our addition operation. So it is displaying the value as 50, as 20 plus 30 is equal to 50. So we could also perform other operations like subtraction, multiplication and division. So for example, let's say if you have a minus sign here, it is going to subtract b from a. And let's say if you want to multiply it, so for multiplying we use the symbol which resembles like a star, and it is called as an asterisk. So we could use this symbol in order to multiply two things. So if we want to multiply a and b, so we put a star symbol here, we save the code, and when we run the code, as you could see, we got a result as 600, and that is because when 20 is multiplied by 30, we get the result as 600. And also we could perform a division operation. So for example, let's say we type 20 divided by 30, and now if we save the code and when we run the code, as you could see, we got the result as 0. And actually if you think about it, we should not have a result as 0, it should be in decimals. So the reason why we got this result to be 0 is that we have declared a variable type of integer. So integer is basically not going to print out the decimal values. So whenever you want the answer in the decimal values, instead of declaring the variables as integer, you should have declared it as doubles. So when you type double here, basically what it signifies is that these three variables are going to be present in the decimal values, and finally we get the result in decimal values as well. So if we save the code now and we run it, as you could see, now we got the answer as 0.666 recurring. So remember, whenever you are dealing with the decimal points, make sure that you declare your variables in doubles, or in any other case, you could simply keep it as integer. And also one more operation which I need to mention here is going to be the modulus operation. So let's say if we change this to let's say 70, or let's simply change it to 7, and let's change this thing to 3. So whenever we are going to divide 7 by 3, we get 3 2s are 6, and finally 1 is remaining, and we call the remaining thing as a remainder. So whenever you want to actually access the remainder, we use an operator which is called as the modulus operator, and this modulus operator is actually going to return us the remainder. So when we divide 7 by 3, we get the remainder as 1. So whenever we want to use, or whenever we want to extract a remainder, we use this operation, which is the percentage sign, which is called as the modulus operator. So when we save the code and when we run it, as you could see, we got the result as 1, which is nothing but the remainder. So that's it for this tutorial, and I hope you guys understood how to use mathematical operations while writing Java program. So that's it for this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you.